My name is Ethan Andes, and I wanted to share with you guys something really sick at Andes Roofing called designer shingles. These are not for everybody, but they are a special type of shingle that predominantly people put on really steep, high roofs that have a special look to them. And I want to get into that with you today. Here on the table, we have a CertainTeed carriage house shingle. And unlike your standard dimensional kind of wood shaky look-alike shingles, these ones have an artisan, more hand-cut custom look. And because of that, they're much thicker. And when I say thicker, whenever you take a square of shingles, let's say a 10 by 10 foot square, and we have to put all of these shingles inside of it, because these are thicker, it requires more bundles of shingles to be broken open, nailed down on the roof to get that same 10 by 10 square. So this one specifically, the CertainTeed carriage house, is 5 bundles per square, which on your standard dimensional shingle that most roofers want to talk about, it's only 3. So for the same amount of coverage, we have to work 40% harder as installers just to nail down this shingle versus a regular dimensional shingle. It's a big deal. So we have additional labor cost. Let's say the bundles themselves are actually similar in price, which they're actually not. They're more expensive because they are designer special shingles. So the bundles cost a little bit more. And then we have to add 2 more bundles per 10-foot section that makes this much more expensive. That is just the quantity differences. Whenever it comes to installing the shingles, this one specifically, the CertainTeed carriage house, you have to have a color match starter. And what that is at the very bottom and the sides of the roof, you have little gaps in the shingle, and underneath of it, there's like little parts that shine through. And you don't want it to look like a horrible different color. So CertainTeed sells a special starter strip shingle that goes underneath of it that bleeds through and helps glue that shingle down at the bottom and makes it look really whatever, this is the brownstone color, makes it look like the brownstone color shining through the back of the shingle. So you got custom starter strip, you got more bundles, and then the big thing is because these designer shingles, no matter what the brand is, it's a preference on some of them, but on the carriage house, the Belmont, the Berkshire, all of these more expensive, thicker shingles, whenever you get to a valley, which is where the water collects, on a regular dimensional shingle, a lot of times they'll weave it up the other side and cross it over here, and then they'll snap a chalk line and cut that extra off, and it's woven like that. On these designer shingles, you do not want to do that. And the reason why is when you weave them up the other side, even if you cut off that bit there, it's so thick underneath this side of the shingles, it looks horrible. So a lot of manufacturers, they say, if you're going to do valleys with our designer shingles, depending on how many bundles per square they are, you have to use metal valleys. And so these metal valleys, we call them different things. We call them W valleys, metal valleys, flashed valleys. All of those are the names for what you have to do in a valley to flash it correctly to make sure that the water runs down, but it doesn't leave those ugly humps in your designer shingle option that you paid so much money for and you want it to look great. And at Andes Roofing, we make sure you get that option because there's a gray area here, okay? The other option that I have on this table, it's called a Camelot 2 designer shingle. This one is only 4 bundles per square, which means it's slightly thinner than the options like the CertainTeed carriage house, the Owens Corning Berkshire, ones like that are a lot more bundles per square. They're a little bit thinner. And what that does is it makes it easier for the crew. It makes it less bundles per square, meaning really they don't have to work quite as hard. It makes it more cost efficient for the homeowner. And you get the same great look as the thicker, more expensive shingles with, we're a GF Master Elite contractor, so the warranty you're going to get is next level, okay? It's 50 years non-prorated on labor and material for material defects, cracking, blistering, fading, things like that. But what we're very proud of is that because we installed to such a high standard, you get the Golden Pledge warranty, which is a 25-year workmanship warranty, and they extend it even further for shingles like the Camelot 2 designer shingle. So when we do the designer shingle, the Camelot 2, this is actually the same one that I have on my house in the charcoal color. It's a little bit darker than this antique slate color that we have here, but it's fantastic shingle. It looks great, and what it does is it just kind of breaks up the hole. Everybody's got dimensional shingle look, and it makes it to where you have that look to where people, when they drive by, they see the house and they go, man, oh wow, that looks cool. And if people focus on it, it pops out. But if they don't, just like a regular charcoal roof with a white underneath, your accents, it just kind of, it fades in like all the other ones. But if you look at it close, a designer shingle is something that majorly helps your curb appeal. The independent, it's like the National Realtors Association, they did an independent study a few years ago. And they came out and then it said, I think it was the designer shingle or maybe it was extended warranty, but it increases your home value by 6% by installing these upgraded roofing systems with designer shingles. So if you own, let's say a $500,000 house, heck, let's even numbers, let's say a $300,000 house, and we do, my math's not that great, so if we do 10%, you're $30,000. If we do 6% or 5%, you're at $15,000. So let's do $17,000 to $20,000 in that 6% is what this could add to your home. So if you have to get a roof anyways, make sure that you ask about the designer shingle option. Is it going to be more expensive? Yes. Do you get a little bit of payback later in the way that it's installed, the way that the next person, if you sell your home, when they look at it, they're gonna be like, oh, that's sick. They're willing to pay more for it. A lot of times that comes down to the realtor that you use. You want a realtor that can definitely accent that stuff for you in the listing description, as well as talking to the buyer's agent and saying, hey, these are the awesome features that come with this home. But designer shingles are definitely the next level up as far as looks. But if you want to keep up with the Joneses and really make the Joneses look really bad on your street, this is the shingle to have. Okay, I know there's a few of you out there that think about that kind of stuff. And this shingle, because when I say it costs more, okay, if we're talking about a standard shingle roof, okay, we're maybe $450 to $550 a square. When we talk about a designer shingle, you're probably $650 to $750 a square. It's not an astronomical difference. Okay, so if we got a 30 square roof, which is that 10 by 10 foot section, and let's say it's $100 more, you're talking a $3,000 difference. So if your roof costs $20,000, it might be $3,000 more. So $23,000. And in return, you get the curb appeal, you may get a little bit more home value out on the next sale, but really that look, if you're proud of your home and you like the way it looks, like I love my home, I have a Cape Cod style home, but though it's a little bit steeper on the front, and when I put designer shingles on it, I was like, man, that was sick, you know? The reason I really did it though is because when I bought my home, they had like 2 different style of shingles, and you can't be the roofer that's got a really nasty looking roof. So I felt obligated, I had to do that. But these designer shingles, I want to make sure you guys know that they are available. Andy's Roofing, when I started the company, I wanted to be known for doing designer shingles. It's just one of those things that there's a lot of roofers that be like, yeah, we can do designer shingles. They have no idea how to install them correctly. The GAF ones specifically, the Camelot 2, they were talking about the color starter on the Certainty Carriage House. This shingle, the Camelot 2, it has another intricacy that you have to use a different kind of starter strip that most roofers don't use. So they have their standard Pro Start starter strip. You have a different one that they have to use on the eaves for the Camelot 2 shingle. It's just these little things like that, okay? And then let's say that you live in a really nice upscale home that's got steep roofs and there are really a lot of coverage there that you can see from the road. We can do copper valleys. Okay, so you can do copper valleys. Over time they patina, but if you want to keep it that coppery look and you like that look, we can do an aluminum that's coated, that's copper look. All kinds of different options that we can do for a homeowner that's interested in an option like this of going with the designer route. Maybe you want a thicker one with a more artisan hand cut look, or you want the more standard slate look like the Camelot 2. We've even got one in the GF line called the Slate line, and it's extremely symmetrical, but then all of the cuts this way, they're like little triangles. It looks really cool too. But my personal favorite is the Camelot 2 if I was going to choose any of the designer shingle options. And that's pretty much all I got for you guys.